Broncos country, let's hide. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Thunderstruck podcast with Tori. I am your host, Tori Ancona. It's a nice Tuesday afternoon at 1:14. I'm going to go over the Chargers versus Broncos game. What a win! What a win for the Los Angeles Chargers. The first time they were 3-0 since they were the San Diego Chargers 3 years before my birth. Since 2002, that was the last time the Chargers, as a franchise, won 3 games in a row to start the season. And what a way to do it against 3 divisional rivals. Week 1 against the Chiefs, huge win. Week 2 against the Raiders in Vegas, mind you, pretty big win. And this game right here, I was actually there in person. And man, there was a lot of ups and downs. There was a moment in the game where, will the Chargers be the same old Chargers and make this game get away from them? But no, that did not happen whatsoever. And I can't wait to recap it in this episode 6 of the Thunderstruck podcast with Tori. Jim Harbaugh in year 2, still at the beginning of the year, being looked at as a team that might not get over the hump. They might not get over the difficulties in the fourth quarter. Games crawl away from them, as they usually do when it comes to the Los Angeles Chargers, as you've seen from, the history of this team. And honestly, man, this feels like a different team. There was a lot of nervous moments. I'm not gonna lie, when the Chargers were up 10-0, I still got a knot in my stomach. And I was thinking that this Denver team is tough, but I didn't know how tough. And I underestimated how many times they were going to touch this guy right here. I did not know that he was going to be knocked down 12 times. He got sacked like 6 times. O-line, what the hell? I couldn't believe it. I mean, this pass rush was electric. I mean, you have Zach Allen, you have Nick Bonito, and others like just stepping up to the plate and really making plays and taking away drives. I mean, there was many drives where the Chargers, it would be 3rd down and they would just get after to Justin Herbert in under 2 seconds. Like, it was unbelievable to see how quick they were, but they were not good enough. And I know you're like, Tori, they got to Herbert 12 times. They sacked him 6 times. What do you mean that they didn't do a good job? They did do a good job, just not a good enough job, because the Los Angeles Chargers come away with the win over the Denver Broncos 23-20. I mean, what a game. This felt like a playoff game. It felt like a playoff atmosphere. It felt like, it would be a game played in a January setting, because it was an absolutely action-packed rivalry game between these 2 divisional rivals. And I'm so looking forward to what is in store for the rest of this team. I hope to God we remain as healthy as possible, because unfortunately Najee Harris is now out for the season because of a torn Achilles, and I'm wishing nothing but the best for Najee Harris to make a speedy recovery, because those injuries are extremely hard to get back into shape from. So yeah, sending thoughts and prayers for Najee Harris to make through a strong recovery. But where do we go from here? Jim Harbaugh said in a conference that Kamani Vidal is going to be the next man up, which, he showed some flashes last year, showed some flashes in the preseason, and we'll see how effective he will be, especially if Mekhi Becton comes back from concussion protocol. That would definitely open it up a little bit more for him to succeed. But, I like to keep it interesting. I want to see Joe Ortiz make a move for a solidified running back too, because currently we have a really impressive running attack behind Marion Hampton, who played the best game of his career so far. It was so awesome to see that he got his first career touchdown and it was right in front of my eyes. And and he was extremely effective in the pass catching game. I believe he had more than 120 total yards. He had a touchdown. He was very, very crucial in that fourth quarter comeback. So hoping that he stays healthy, because he's going to start getting more confident and he's starting to get more responsibility when it comes to this offense. I really am so impressed with him, and also his pass blocking. His pass blocking has been pretty damn well for a rookie. So shout out Amari and Hampton. Hassan Haskins, who showed a lot of sparks last year, the former Michigan Wolverine for Jim Harbaugh. They bring him in from the Titans last year, and he scored a few times, and he showed some pretty nice sparks. So maybe he gets some action as well, along with Kamani Vidal. But I'm going to go over the free agents and my dream running back scenarios, and then I will recap how I felt about the Chargers-Broncos game. I think Audric Estime would be a really good move. He's a free agent currently. I think that would fill in that Najee Harris role perfectly. He's a physical runner. He averaged about 4 yards a carry last year with the Broncos, and now he's not on a team right now, so maybe picking him up will really help the running game significantly. That's for sure. Maybe considering bringing back Gus the Bus, and I know he's injury prone and he was injured last year, but maybe, just maybe, because of the familiarity of last year, I think maybe bringing Gus Edwards back would be pretty good too. Khalil Herbert is also a free agent. He has some experience in the league. He's not really as physical as Gus Edwards and Audric Estime, but Khalil Herbert would be a really good pickup as well. And Dante Foreman would be my number one NFL free agent still available for running back. He's been on the Panthers. He's been on the Bears, I believe. If he's not a free agent, I don't think he is getting any touches. I think the last team I remember seeing him on was the Carolina Panthers, and I don't think he's going to get enough, touches. But I think he's a free agent, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So Dante Foreman would be my number one running back free agent. Now, if we're talking about trades, here's who I think would be amazing. I think Rico Dole, butchering his last name, my apologies. I think he showed some really nice flashes for the Carolina Panthers. And Blake Corum, this was a player that I wanted in last year's draft, and he got drafted to the wrong Los Angeles team, but he's not really getting that much action with the Rams because of Kyren Williams. So I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, if we can just slip him a nice 7th round, 6th round pick for him, I think he would be really good for this team. I know he's short, but he's very physical, and he can affect the receiving attack as well. And he was the starting running back, I believe, for Michigan when Jim Harbaugh was coaching for them, and they won a national championship together. So there's some history with Blake Corum and Jim Harbaugh. So I'm hoping that would be a really, really good pickup for the Chargers. And now my dream trade, this is pretty unrealistic in my opinion, knowing how the Chargers operate, but man, I hope they prove me wrong. The 2 running backs that I think would be absolutely perfect for the Chargers, sharing some touches with Amari and Hampton, would be Rachaad White from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he deserves more touches. He's a physical runner. I've been wanting him ever since he went to Arizona State, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But Rachaad White is a beast. And of course, the dream scenario, and I've been looking at Chargers Twitter pages, and they all are preaching this, because the Saints are one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the NFL. Everybody's preaching and praying that the Chargers and the Saints come together with a trade that sends Alvin Kamara to the Chargers, and that would be, in my opinion, better than the Najee Harris move. So we'll see if that happens. If that happens, I might cry of tears of joy, because that would be an hell of a running back field with Amarian Hampton and Alvin Kamara. That would be stellar. But anyway, let's talk about the Chargers versus Broncos recap. I did mention that the Broncos pass rush is no freaking joke. I mean, they brought Herbert to the multiple times. They showed pressure, pocket would collapse. But then you have Justin Herbert, who is now playing top 3 quarterback level of play. I don't think that there's 3 other quarterbacks better than him, with the exception of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I don't think there's another quarterback that's playing as good as Justin Herbert. In my opinion, I think he can make a case that he's the best quarterback in the league. Yes, you heard that right. Yes, you heard that right. And yes, you heard that right. So Herbert, I mean, seeing that pass where he had Nick Bonito in his face, holy moly. I am going to talk about these referees in this episode too, because they were right there to witness every single missed call. And I was in the stands. I also moved to the suite with my best friend that I found out that he was there at the game. That's a long story, but I moved from my seats to the suite for the second half, and even I saw all the missed calls live. And very, very, very awful game by the referees. So I just want to shout them out. Thank you for your service. Yeah, so the referee standing right there, seeing Nick Bonito hit him and grab his face mask, it looked like, if not, still hands to the face. That's illegal. And Herbert with his back turned, not knowing if the pass was completed, but it was one of the best throws that I've ever seen in my life. Probably the best throw I've ever seen in my life. If I wasn't at the game, it would still be one of the best plays I've ever seen on a TV screen, because that was such a incredible play by Herbert. Pressure in his face, putting the team on his back, and going to number 13, my favorite wide receiver of all time, Keenan Allen, which, welcome home. I mean, he is showing that he is aging like LeBron James. I mean, he is looking like he's barely a day over 24. That's the way he's playing. That's the way he's been playing. So getting 3 touchdowns the first 3 weeks. Third and Keenan is still alive. He is extending the play when Herbert is in trouble, and their chemistry is truly one of the best chemistries in the league. I want to shout out Ladd McConkey for some clutch catches. I know it says 4 catches and 41 yards, and you would be like, that's an okay game from Ladd, but he was really crucial on that catch to set up Cameron Dicker's game-winning field goal, which, shout out Cameron Dicker. That was the second game-winning kick that I've seen Cameron Dicker make in person. December of 2022, he got a game-winning field goal against the Tennessee Titans. So he's been probably the best Chargers kicker in history. Could make a case someday that he might be the greatest kicker in history. So shout out Cameron Dicker. But anyway, Ladd McConkey setting Dicker up for that field goal was really clutch. Quentin Johnston is looking like wide receiver 1 at this point. Like, he is so far throwing away all the bus talk. I mean, he is locked in. I think that Keenan Allen pickup to pair him with Ladd opens Quentin Johnston up tremendously. He is a yards after catch machine. You saw it in the first, I believe it was the first drive of the game where the Chargers scored a field goal. He got tangled up with the defensive player of the year, mind you, of last year, Patrick Surtain, and he just kept fighting for more yards, and I believe he got more than 40 on that catch. So shout out Quentin Johnston, who got also, not only he got like 5 catches for basically 90 yards, but he got 4 catches for like 60 plus yards on Patrick Surtain, which is like a truly outstanding performance for Quentin Johnston, because that's arguably the best corner in the NFL. I want to shout out somebody who filled in for Will Dissly, who was not playing today, that wasn't playing on Sunday. Oronde Gadsden. I mentioned that he was showing some sparks in training camp previously on other episodes. I also mentioned that he showed some flashes in the preseason, but I had no idea how impactful he was going to be this game. I knew he was going to play, so I was kind of excited to see him, but at the same time, he was converting so many third down plays, clutch, and you can tell that the Broncos wasn't thinking about him. He was reliable. I believe there was one miscommunication in the first drive where they couldn't complete that pass that went to the 1 yard line, but no big deal because he was locked in. There was, after his first career catch, which was a nice toe drag catch on the sideline, the second play happens, he gets 17 more yards, so I think he could be a case for tight end number 1 because the Tyler Conklin experiment hasn't been impactful at all so far. So I'm hoping that Tyler Conklin really steps up to the plate as well. That way we have 2 really good threats at the tight end position. But Oronde Gadsden, incredible debut, very clutch on that last drive, securing that pass against 2 Bronco defenders. He looks like he could be a Donald Parham, so I'm really looking forward to that. Knock on wood. He has some sticky fingers, bro. Like sticky fingers. I mean, Herbert is throwing bullets. He's adjusting and making those catches. So shout out Oronde Gadsden for falling in the 5th round of this year's draft, which could come up as another Joe Ortiz, Jim Harbaugh steal, along with the other steals that they got. So shout out Oronde Gadsden. Shout out Derwin James. I mean, he is number 3 in tackles for loss in the NFL. I think he's like behind Myles Garrett, and I forget number 2, but Derwin James has more tackle for loss than like TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, shout out Derwin James. He can make a case for Defensive Player of the Year as well if he continues to perform at this rate. Shout out Tony Jefferson for stepping up too with that deflection in the red zone. And shout out to Benjamin St-Juste being one of the highest graded corners so far of the 2025 NFL season. So shout out to them. They've been absolutely locking it down. Shout out Jesse Minter for another pretty damn good performance. I know they gave up that big touchdown to Sutton and J.K. Dobbins, but they really adjusted wonderfully in the 4th quarter, which caused Bo Nix to overthrow so many gimmies. I mean, there was a lot of moments where I thought that Bo Nix was going to complete like a 50-yard play, and that it was just that pressure really got to him. Tuli Pelotu is one of the highest graded pass rushers when it comes to applying pressure on the quarterback, so shout out Tuli. Yeah, what a game. I went with my girlfriend and my dad and his good friend Tom, shout out. That was so fun. I met up with my best friend and his family too in the suite. It was an incredible experience. I'm so excited to go back to SoFi in a little less than a month to see the Chargers versus the Colts, which at the beginning of the summer, I thought that would be an easy win for the Chargers. So let me just grab these tickets. But now the Colts are also 3-0. So they might be legit. If they continue on this winning streak, I would be really interested if the NFL were to reschedule the time of when that game is going to be played. Maybe like a similar thing to last year when it was the Bengals and the Chargers, and that was originally going to be at 1 o'clock, but they took away the Sunday night football game and made it the Chargers versus the Bengals. They might do the same thing with the Chargers versus the Colts, so keep on the lookout for that. Broncos might be the second best team in the AFC West by far. Bo Nix, I know everybody's going to clown him for his overthrows. He showed some flashes. He's still a really big threat on the ground. J.K. Dobbins, if he's on the field, he's just going to carve defenses across the board, especially how that O-line run blocking has been performing. J.K. Dobbins has been really solid. Cortland Sutton is still a really good threat. Marvin Mims, it's still a really good team. And then I would say the best pass rush in the NFL. So yeah, absolutely incredible game. Probably the best win so far of the season. I know we want to be like, oh, beating the Chiefs was everything, and it was everything. But when it comes to a roster perspective and how teams have been performing, the Broncos have been playing pretty decent here and there for the first 2 weeks, but they played a really good game against the Chargers, but fell short because Justin Herbert is him. He is Justin Hembert. You hear me? So, yeah, I'm very excited for this week. Next episode, I'm going to preview the Chargers versus the Giants, and I found out today that the Giants are going to start a rookie quarterback in Jackson Dart making his debut versus the Chargers. So I will talk about that in the next episode, but in the meantime, I'm going to wrap up. What a game. 3-0. Here we go. Let's go Bolts. Very excited to see what happens next. Follow me on socials. Follow me on TikTok to see that Amarian Hampton first career touchdown. I got that on tape. So if you want to check that out to see a fan's perspective, be my guest. The link's in my bio. And shout out to all the Charger fans out there, because man, it's been quite some time since we've seen a start to the season like this. And it's been quite some time that we won the division, and being 3-0 in the division in the first 3 weeks really shows that could be a really big possibility. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bolt gang or don't bang, bolt up, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.